it's not necessary to introduce myself. Just introduce me as somebody introduced me in Vienna during a conference, that this is a horrible shipping man. And I am very proud about this introduction, because I am really a horrible shipping man. Of course, I'm a fan of the Black Sea, and I'm a fan of the Black Sea Canal as well, even if the Black Sea Canal is very expensive, but I love it. And Port of Constanța is one of my favorite. So the title of my presentation is The Traffic on the Hungarian Danube Section and the Situation in Hungarian Ports. One slide is more than enough. Everybody is so happy. We are sitting in the middle of a gold mine, so there is nothing to do. I heard that I have an opinion that Herfried was right, because when he told us that the Green Deal is a brown deal without shipping. And when we are talking about the Hungarian Danube section and the Hungarian ports, we have to take it into the consideration that for a prosperous future of last, we need Danube as the track of the industry, not only the ports. So when we are thinking about ports only, it's like a necklace. So the ports are the pearl on the necklace, but we do have a necklace in order to go to the theater with our wife. Of course, I'm talking on behalf of the Hungarian ports and on behalf of the Hungarian Danube Ports Federation, because Béla has another job to do. Of course, I have to tell you that the best and only solution to use the Hungarian ports is to use the Plimsoll, Fluvius, and TTS services. All others are very good as well, but the purse we are and the headaches, we are going to supervise the headaches of all and every charterer. As far as do you see my presentation, or do I have to?
Because you don't share with us.
I sent it to you yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, but we can share it, and you can share also if you
okay,
share it,
I will share it.
Because you can step it after that without any help.
Do you see it now?
Yeah, and just perfect. So you are ready.
So my first slide, everybody knows my first slide, that we are always talking about economical and political crisis. I still have the opinion, and then this I am insisting on it. We have moral and ethical crisis. So I have to do first this one. And of course, you are right that we cannot regulate morality by order or act. Of course, the shipping people are right when I'm declaring that it's not necessary to cry. We have to solve the problems. The first one, it's so simple. This is the first Excel sheet about the last 19 years of the Hungarian ports. If you see the last two rows, it's fantastic that we are exceeding 6 million tons, but if you are comparing with the 20 years ago figures, we are starting to cry. Of course, comparing with the last year, we have 10% increasement. And if you see 2003, 2004, and 2011, we dropped the through output of the Hungarian ports less than 5 million tons, which is ridiculous. But if you look at the grand total, 106 million tons during 19 years, this is only one third of the traffic on the Rhine per year. So, of course, I do not want to compare the traffic on the Rhine with the traffic on the Danube, but we are small, like black pepper, small but strong. But I heard the information from the Danube Commission, and I heard the information from Herfried as well, that the transshipment prices are not bad and everybody's satisfied with the freight rates. So in the afternoon, I have to fire my colleagues, or a part of my colleagues minimum, because I was told that the freight rates did not change at all. And my opinion that the freight rates are still much less than it was 5 or 10 years ago. I will let you know later what I am not satisfied with the freight rates. If you see this 6 million tons, which was the 5.5, the average of the last 19 years, and the last year's 6 million, this is roughly 10% of the riparian country's output. We should be satisfied as well with that, but I have a feeling that the ports will be satisfied and they can carry, or they can do us 2 times more than the last year's average. This is the graphs, a bit easier to see. The upper one is the total, and the lower 3 is the 3 main one, the grain, the soybean meal, and the oil seed. But if you had that kind of electrocardiogram, as this graph is it's much better to call your physicians immediately, because I would like to see a graph which is upcoming and not declining every second year. But this is the soup, and we are going to cook the soup as we have the ingredients in the soup. So these are the facts. These are the facts. 2 things is missing about these graphs and tables. First of all, the containerization. If you remember last 10 years or 15 years, we heard many presentations about the containerization on the Danube. I can tell you that, for example, the Hungarian MCC handling more than 400,000 TEUs per year, and out of this 400,000 TEU, they handled less than 6,000 by the Danube. So these figures are very bad figures, according to my opinion. And as far as the Ro-Ro is concerned, the Ro-Ro traffic is still worse than I expected 5 or 10 years ago. These are the main wheat, corn, and sunflower seeds, and iron ore and other numbers. I do not want to waste too much time on it. The main thing is that the agro products increasing a lot, but the iron ore and the steel products and the others declining a bit. Of course, we still have over 6 million tons of cargo per year, but I'm not satisfied with the heavy industry. I'm not satisfied with the heavy industry, and most probably we are going to have a very bad second and third quarter because of Dunafer headaches. But the real headaches because of the ports are here. I was told that the last year's water level, it was a satisfaction for the Danube Commission. Sorry to say that this is the first 127 days of this year, and I can tell you that out of this 127 days, during 31 days, we had less water level than 2 meters. Of course, you can tell us that with 2 meters, we still can carry cargoes, but only one figure for you. If I have 20 voyages during the first 4 months of this year with my fleet, and I'm going to load, instead of 1,600 tons, only 1,200 or 1,100 tons, I'm going to lose 400 tons by 20 voyages, which means 8,000 tons. And I'm talking only about a small fleet, which means that we are going to miss, during this period of time, 120,000 euro if the average freight level is 15 euro. So if somebody is happy about these water levels, I'm going to send him an invoice covering 120,000 euro, because this is missing from my pocket. So this relatively good fairway means for me that I have figures, because I'm a horrible shipping man. I have figures like hell, even if I cannot carry figures. But in 2020, 24% of time we have less water level at Felling than 1.6 meters, and 38% we have in between 2 meters and 1.6 meters, which means altogether 41 days with restricted draft. This restricted draft means the ports are not going to handle as much cargo as possible, and the shipping companies are going to use 2 times more capacity than necessary. This is CAUB. CAUB, it's a little bit better than it was, but the first 137 days of the year, one day was less than 100. You know that around 130 you have 2 meters. So only 83% of the time had good draft possibilities for the ships. And 17% is worse than the average. And somebody told us about the last year's CBRB prices, the gas oil prices. I have the last year's here is, so I'm not lying. Last year's CBRB, we started CBRB January 1st, 2020 at 72. So if somebody considering that this is a good CBRB price, I can tell you that this is not. It fall up to 52 in 4 months, but don't forget that when we starting to introduce to the market the gas oil surcharge, it was 40. So the first gas oil surcharge charged to the Hungarian customers 15 years ago started at 40. Today, and we are guilty, all the shipping companies are guilty, because we slightly increasing that bar of gas oil surcharge up to 51st and then 55 or sometimes to 60. So when somebody is talking about good gas oil prices, I can tell you that the good gas oil price started with a figure of 3 or 2. If the gas oil price is over 4, and this is over 4, and it was over 47 during the whole year of 2020, this business is monkey business for the shipping companies as far as the gas oil prices are concerned. And this is the table of the first 4 months of this year. We started at 55.50, and now we are at 66. So I'm not satisfied with them because we cannot cover our basic costs. So that the expenditures are more than the income. This is, and I would like to thank to the Hungarian government and thank to the EU Commission that they put public and European financial and investment support into the Hungarian ports. The numbers are in Hungarian forints in million. Roughly, you can calculate that in the first period of 2004 and 2006, they invested roughly 46 million euro, then 47.4, and then 38.5 million euros. So altogether, roughly 132 million euros invested into Hungarian ports. Thanks God. Sometimes I have a feeling that I am a parrot, but believe me, it's still actual. What do we have in the Commission's white paper, Transport Policy for 2010? Time to decide. We have to decide what are we going to do with our Danube together with the ports, because we have to serve the market. But if the market is going to change the mentality and they're going to use more other mode of transport, we are going to lose a big portion, a big slice of that cake, which we call transportation. So we have to decide. Just think about it. I do not want to read all the lines, all the sentences for you, but the main thing is, just think about this United Nations, they guaranteed minimum standards for the infrastructure, which means for us a minimum draft of 2.5 meters. This is the key point for us. Just remember for Herflit's slices about the Straubing-Vilshofen part of the Danube, this stretch, killing the business. Since, I don't know how many, since 10 years or more than 10 years. Of course, we have to be very pessimistic about the Greens, because they have this slogan that we have to adapt the vessel to the river and not to the river to the vessels. But this is falsifying the statistics, because this creates a dangerous fiction and ignores all and each basic economic facts. So we adapting continuously our fleet to the Danube, but we have to regulate the Danube. Danube Commission already signed an agreement with the European Commission to develop and improve the navigation river. This cooperation for the inland navigation sector, which needs a core and efficient governance framework. We do have government framework, and we have coordinated maintenance of the river infrastructure. Just think about the Romanian part of the Danube. But Danube is disrepaired still. We have to tell it, we have to tell the truth. The Danube is disrepaired, and sometimes we are desperate. Sometimes we are desperate because sometimes I have a feeling that nothing happened to the Danube, nothing. But I can quote you the Danube minister's last declaration. They have the importance of the inland waterway transport in their mind, and the importance of the master plan for the rehabilitation and maintenance of the fairways. Okay, I am satisfied with the ideas, but now we do have a real program for the rehabilitation and maintenance of the very same Danube stretch. Just think about Schwabing-Seelhofen. We did this DaHar program in 2014, and we have 4 thematic groups, and number 1 declared that logistic infrastructure for the Danube ports, for the DaHar ports, because this is Danube harbors, this is the DaHar, and the transformation of inland waterway ports into logistic hubs. I cannot transfer it to logistic hubs if we are not going to have a pass in between the ports. It's like I used to tell it like a metro. I can build a metro line with very nice stations, but if I am not going to have a gauge in between, I'm not going to have metro service. Only nice ports. The hinterland connection. This is essential because the Danube ports badly need connected by efficient rail and road. About the container and the road service, I told a few minutes ago. Unfortunately, nothing happened so far. The Danube container and road service is still weak. Still weak. We will see whether we are going to modernize the Danube fleet or whether they are going to have a strong TEN-T coordinator in order to invest a bit more in container and road services. The only thing which we did already, this river information services, RIS is working on the Danube German section and all over the Danube Rhine main waterways. So now we did the job as far as these ideas and steps forwards are concerned, only for river information service, nothing else. What is the real threat? The real threat is the follows. This is from yesterday's newsletter from Port of Antwerp. Just think about it. They declared that the cargo transport by rail is much safer and environmentally friendly than all other alternatives. I shocked when I read it first, and then furthermore, the price is also very competitive for long distances. I think that they haven't seen any figures about the comparison of the different transportation modes so far. So let's modal shift together. First, I think that they are joking. And what is the basis of the competitiveness? Modal shifts means rail to waterways or waterways to rail, or means from tracking to rail and waterways, because it differs a lot. And the next one, they declare that almost 3/4 of the freight in Belgium transported by road. By 2030, this will grow by almost a quarter, additional quarter. And this is the biggest. A freight train takes an average of 50 trucks off the road. I have a question. How many trucks takes the shipping off the road, comparing with freight trains and comparing this with these figures of 50 trucks? And it also emits 9 times less CUW and 8 times less air pollution. Why do we advertise? Why do we promote? Why do we hype? Why do we push railways, contrary to the shipping, which is our profession? We push and we hype railway, an industry which is highly subsidized by governments. So this is not fair. Just look at that. Climate gas, air pollutants, noise and accidents. This is brand new source from 2007. This is cents per ton kilometer. Please compare trucking by rail and by waterways. The next one is the comparison of infrastructure costs. We have much less infrastructure cost than all other modes. Why don't we subsidizing shipping instead of the others? And this is the very good example for the 50 trucks. One pushed convoy on the lower Danube, pushing 7,000 tons, are equal with 175 rail cars carrying 40 tons of cargo and 280 trucks carrying 25 tons of cargo each. So we have to advertise these figures and these slides in order to convince the decision makers that the shipping is often sick but never dies. What postulates we have? We have to make it clear that the Danube works for Europe, and this Danube is the economic backbone of Europe. We have to utilize it, we have to use it. We must have, medium and long term as well, a workable economic and transport concept. We do need a concept, what we are going to do, definitely, not talking about for additional 5 years or 10 years, act, not talk, act. We have to regulate the Danube River, even if the Greens like it or not. Regulation doesn't mean that we are dredging only and we're ruining the Danube. Regulation means that we are going to regulate the whole waterways in order to help the economy, not for the shipping only. Shipping only a part of the economics. And the Danube Commission must have leading position. We do have Danube Commission, but I cannot compare the position of Danube Commission with CCNR, which we can call Rhine Commission. We do need a strong Danube Commission. And of course, to have a very strong Danube Commission, we have to revise Belgrade Convention. So I have the usual message to the industry and the decision makers: full speed ahead, please. Do it, think it, and act for the next generation, please. Thank you very much. And if anybody has any question, don't hesitate to raise it. Thank you.